So here's a trick or a guide that might help you make sure you get your model, your polygon aligned correctly with your rig. So this is my catheter. I went over here and I actually duplicated my gastroscope, moved it over to where my balloon was. This is the base, if you will, for my balloon. It's quite thin, and I've twisted it. But I wanted to make sure the catheter was big enough to fit on it, but I also wanted to make sure the catheter was not the same diameter as the gastroscope. And obviously I've used a different shader, but now I want to get this catheter back to, let's say, this rig. Okay. So what might not be obvious to you is these joints, those little intersections there, that's actually considered a point in the software's definitions. So I've got my catheter selected, and I'm going to click on the red arrow, which means I can only move it in the x-axis. Okay, remember x is red down here. So I can only move in the x-axis. Now if I come over here and hold down the letter V, if you look at the top of my screen right there, if I hold down the letter V, you see where the snap to point icon. So I'm holding the letter V and I middle mouse drag on any one of those joint intersections, and now the surface snaps immediately to the rig. Now I can back that up, or verify that I should say, by going from the top view and even from other views if you want. But that's one way of guaranteeing that your surface is there. Now before I do any kind of skinning, before I bind this pipe to this rig or joint chain, I'm going to be sure first thing I do is delete the history on the pipe, and then I'm going to freeze its transformation, and I'm going to center its pivot, which pretty much is already done. Now when I collect the pipe and then I say shift and say now I've got the joint and the pipe, or the joint chain. Now if I go to my rigging menu and say skeleton, or I'm sorry, my skin, and I say bind skin, I want to make sure in this case we're using the default values here. We're using joint hierarchy bind. Now if that worked, what I should be able to do is select any one of those joints, select any one, and rotate it, and you should see my catheter moving with it.